Kia ora everyone, welcome to another episode of Untidy. My name is Matilda Green. I'm a mother of three children and one little Jack Russell who's gone deaf, by the way. Have I told you?
It's happened.
Yeah, it's like he's not fully deaf, but he is definitely
He's hard of
a lot
hearing.
more deaf than he was when he wasn't deaf. So, but do you know what? Bless him. I think he's actually quite relaxed about it because he's really calm. He's
He
a
just
lot
thinks
calmer.
everyone's calmed down.
Yeah.
The house has finally settled down to, an acceptable level of noise. And he's like, thankfully, they've figured things out.
I know.
He's
I
got
think
no idea he's got deaf.
he's actually really enjoying it. So good for him. And I am here with my radiant co-host.
Oh, thank you. It's actually a little bit warm in this room, but that's okay. Hannah Davison, mother to two, 11 and 13-year-old now. Oh my God, Matty, I need to talk about the independence that's happening. We've had a shift, we've had a change. Co-parent to my very deaf English bull terrier, who's 14 and a half now, Matty. She
Wow.
gave us a real scare last week. She's developed this horrendous cough, like so bad she made herself puke. So immediately I was like, okay, full scale panic. She's dying, you
Oh,
know?
Duchess.
I know. We think it's a passing virus. So
Okay.
don't worry. We're okay. Thankfully,
Was she in the kennels? Because like a little bit
no.
of kennel cough, maybe?
No, nah. No, don't
Mm.
know. Don't. And she's not prone to getting sick. She's quite robust. So it really rattled us all.
Oh, it's a bit scary, isn't it?
Yeah. Fortunately, her stepmother is a small animal vet. So
Really handy.
you couldn't
Really
ask
handy.
for better than that. She is. I wanted her to stay with me, but I'm like, no, you guys, can you take her? Because I wanted to have 24-hour
Yeah.
observation.
Good,
Okay.
the small animal vet for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So she's there.
Oh,
And I think
Duchess.
she's feeling much better. But it just worries me, like
Mm-hmm.
I was talking
They're
to
old.
they're old, at some point they will no longer be here. I was talking to one of my friends, and she was saying that someone on her team, their cat had died, so they took a couple of days off bereavement leave, and that was being scoffed at by one of the senior managers. And I was like, "Oh no! Like when Duchess goes, I'll be taking a full week." And she's like,
Yeah.
"So will I." I think a lot of people
100%.
will.
That really pisses me off when people disrespect someone else's grief,
Mm,
It's like, how about I tell you how I'm feeling about the death that I'm experiencing? You know what I mean? Like, whether it's a cat or
yeah,
something else, like, I'll tell you how I feel. Thanks,
yeah,
because 'cause I'm the one that knows,
yeah.
okay?
That's a member of my family that's never genuinely been a dick. So,
Yeah.
like I am attached to them.
Yeah, they've
Okay.
only given me unconditional love, all right? So I'm
Yeah.
gonna be sad when they go. Thanks very much.
Exactly right.
Well, I don't
Um,
think Jack Russell's lived very long. So Buster's 14 and
he's doing like they're both doing well.
both
I
good,
reckon you're
yeah.
looking about 16 is probably your outer limit.
Well, it says 13 to 16.
Yeah.
So I reckon we've got a good 1 or 2 years left in him.
Yeah. Look, I think every day that we have with Duchess, we're happy about it. Like I
Yeah.
have heard of bullies that go to like 16 or 18. I I think I'd be kidding myself to say 18. There are parts
Mm.
that are starting to slowly break down. So
Yeah, 4 years is a long time when you've got an old dog, don't you
no.
think? You're like, "How are you can you last another 4
Yeah.
years?"
Although, like, it surprises me, one, how fast time goes by, because,
Mm,
and then she keeps having birthdays, and I'm like, "Well, this is great. This is great,
yeah.
and we'll just enjoy every bit that we can." Maddie, I think I mentioned, oh, yeah, my children. Yeah, parenting show. Oh God, I've got family admin this week. It's intense. But recently, I had a day one-on-one with Alex, who's starting high school, and
I can't
yes.
believe he's a teenager starting high school. It's
I know.
unbelievable to me.
It's unbelievable to me too. But there's been a bit of a shift in him in a
Mm.
really positive way. I hasten to add, because everyone's like, adolescence. He's been like, oh, mum, why don't we cook dinner together tonight? I'd like to cook dinner.
Beg your pardon?
Okay, just for context, it has only happened once, but it's happened once and that's more than before. So,
It's a big
yeah.
deal. That
And
is a big
so
deal.
I was like, I'd love to do that. It was just,
Mm.
we had a day that Frankie had a sleepover. So I was like, oh, yeah, let's do that. That can be something we do together. I was like, let's cook something that can always be really handy to know in your arsenal. So we did fish tacos, which is just like fish wraps, basically. absolute crowd fave in this house.
That's the best.
It's so good. And I had to fold laundry and do bits and pieces. So I was like, look, I'll tell you what you need to do at each stage. And if I need to help, then I'll help. He cooked the entire thing. And then I was like, you cooked the whole dinner. He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, yes, I did. Yes, I did. It was so
That's
good.
so cool. And like, what a great moment for him to have accomplished cooking a meal for a family.
Yeah.
That might give him a bit of motivation to be like, I might do it again.
I know, and it was really good. I mean, it's no fail. It's so easy and it's no fail, but that's such a good thing. It's a good meal. It's such a good thing for him to know. And I think we're going to cook again. But he has just had the shift of like being a bit more, oh, is there anything that I can do to help? Or just like not whinging when he's asked to do a little chore.
Wow. A
Yeah.
magical 13th birthday. He's become a
know.
teenager, but he's become a good teenager.
Well, I mean,
So
early
far.
days. There's
Don't wanna
probably
call it too
people,
soon.
parents out there of like 14 and a half, 15-year-olds that are like,
Yeah.
well, enjoy that, the calm before the storm. Anyway, I'll take it. When we had that day together, we also practiced riding our bikes together to his new school
Yeah.
and figured out the bike route to his new school. So he'll be able
Perfect.
to do that.
Yeah.
Pretty safe route. We went in and then we biked on into town and we went and got Metro cards so he can ride the bus.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So he's going to start like, he does
Very
a
grown
bit
up.
of independent travel, but he's going to start doing a lot more independent travel because they're both going to have different things on after school.
Mm.
So feels like
This is
quite a turning
This is
point.
quite monumental.
I know.
He's going to be a high schooler with a Metro card, getting on and off the bus, biking to school.
I know.
Wow. This
I
is
know.
big. This
This
is
is
really
big.
big.
And the thing that also motivated me to get on and get organised for this was the fact that because his new school starts earlier, we would have to leave 15 minutes earlier in the car, and it's already hard enough to get out the door as it is. And I'm like, right, this is a kid who sets his alarm for 5:55 every morning. So
Yeah.
he's got 5 minutes to get dressed so he can be in the living room to watch TV at 6. Like he
Bless his
can get
heart.
on the bus for 7:25,
He's a prompt boy. He is
He's
a
going to
prompt boy.
he is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
So we're having a little, I feel like we're just having a little milestone over here.
Wow. Wow. That's huge.
Mm.
Oh, that's very exciting.
It is exciting. And I had a really good time riding my bike with him. And I'm like, why don't I ride my bike just to get around more often? I don't know.
Every
'Cause I
time I
could.
ride my bike, I think that. I'm like, why don't I ride my bike enough?
Yeah.
You know? But then I get off the bike and then I get back in the car and then I'm like, oh, cars are also really nice too.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
convenient. I can listen to podcasts
It's really
and stuff.
convenient. It's nice and warm and stuff, and you can listen to music.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and I'm like, no, I think that's why. I think it's just a general can't be botheredness.
Yeah. Hey, how are the renos going?
Well, we haven't fully kicked off. We're doing like a soft launch of the Renos.
Okay.
So it's kind of
okay.
we're doing as much of it ourselves as we can. So we've got our friend who was in the cult.
And Art
Yeah.
with a few things on his list.
Yeah, exactly. So jack of all trades cult guy, and who is
and he'll love just being called that, will he?
Who is also a dear friend of ours. I should probably say that first before cult guy. Him and Art are doing a lot of it now. So we're removing walls. We're plastering over walls where he has pulled up all the tiles. When we were away in Hawke's Bay, he pulled up all the tiles and whatnot while we were away. So we're kind of like half in a bit of a building site currently.
Okay.
There's like half a floor. There's no sink in the ensuite. That's just kind of a
That's
cavernous
a luxury item
hole.
anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having to sink. But every night I go to get myself sorted and I'm like, oh, there's no sink. And Art's like, can you just remember that there's no sink there? But every time I go to brush my teeth and wash my face, I'm like, oh, got to go downstairs. He's like, yeah, you say that every day. Every day.
You've developed the muscle memory. You shouldn't have to be thinking about these things fresh. That's
Exactly.
running. That's a program that's running in the background.
Yeah, like, excuse me, my memory is full. There is no inserting new memories at this point. My brain is very busy figuring out what to keep and what to throw, and it obviously doesn't deem that necessary. But yeah, so we're half in the renos, and then at time of recording, we will be kicking off in about a week and a half, like proper full tradies all storming in.
Oh, whoa.
And that's when we're sort of demoing the kitchen and demoing lots of things.
And are
it's
you
just all
like
on.
abandoning ship for this, or are you sticking it out?
This was a
Uh-oh.
real this has been a real back and forth for us. Do we stay or do we go? We did have this potential house sit that we could
Oh,
do.
yes.
And so we were like, "Oh, that would be handy because then it's free,
Mm,
basically, and we
mm.
just have to look after some animals," I think. That fell through.
Ah, damn
And
it.
so we were like, "I think we're gonna stay and tough it out because that's gonna save us, like,
Yeah, a lot.
a lot."
And you've got to pay for a reno.
We've gotta pay for there's a lot to pay for. So we thought, "Let's just stick it out. We're gonna stick it out." And you know what? It's gonna be really unpleasant,
Yep,
and I'm gonna be really stressed because do you remember when we recorded when we were doing up our old kitchen? Just a cosmetic
yep,
change,
yep.
nothing major, and so the kitchen was then on the dining table.
I remember.
And it completely threw me off in
Yeah.
every aspect of life.
And like again, art adapted immediately to the changes. And you were still trying to just walk the old hard-worn tracks.
I must be a very rigid woman. Like, I didn't think I was so rigid, but I think I am. So, anyway, yeah, so I think I'm going to be a little bit on edge
Okay, noted.
for a
Okay, noted.
while.
So I'll
For
pop
a
it in the
while.
calendar.
Yeah, because the laundry and the kitchen are going to be in the garage, which is fine. And the bathroom
It's going to be in a bucket,
is going to be in a bucket.
which is not
Gonna
fun.
shit in a bucket and then fertilize the forest with it. So
All right.
yeah,
Hey, needs must.
it'll be fun. So that's the plan, but it is going to be amazing. Like full kitchen, bathroom,
Oh,
laundry, flooring.
we've got to
We
think
know.
about the before and after. We've just got to keep focused on the
Yeah,
before and after and how good that's going to feel.
it's going to be amazing. So I'm willing to just trudge through the shit show that it's going to be with a family of 5 living in a house that is being fully renovated.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all gonna inhale building dust. Milo's eczema is gonna flare up. I'm gonna have really bad mucus because that tends to happen when we've got building dust around. So,
Oh,
you know, it's gonna be cool.
how long?
And Milo will
How
be
long?
back at school.
How long are we looking at this going on for?
Well, I said to a friend of mine recently, I was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about 6 weeks." And she goes, "Okay, what are you doing?" And I told her, and she was like, "6 weeks is pretty quick." I was like, "Is it? Do you think it'll be more?" She was like, I'd say at least 8 to be
Oh,
safe."
far out.
I know. So I was like,
I just
"Okay, right."
hit my microphone in disgust.
Yeah. So, look, it'll be fine. Buster's deaf. He's not gonna be worried about it. So he'll just have his bed up here and because our bedroom will be a safe space. There's
Thank
not
God.
too much happening in the bedroom. So he can come and have his bed up here, and I might even let him on the bed for
You
that
might need him.
duration.
You might need him there as an emotional support animal, anyway.
Buster and I can just cower on the bed together and scream into a pillow when it's all
Yeah.
getting too much. Yeah,
Oh
it'll be fine.
God. Well, watch this space. We'll certainly be checking back in.
Yes, yep, yep, we certainly will be, but it's gonna be very cool. And in other news,
Yes.
in speaking of kind of New Year things that are changing, I think I might finish a knitting project.
Oh, okay. For everybody not on YouTube, she is holding up
I'm holding up
a current knitting
just a kind of
project.
scarf, just a
Yeah,
boring old scarf, but I think I'm on track to bloody do it.
you might be done by winter.
I might be done by winter at this rate because I am knitting it for my son Milo, and he was kind of like, "Oh, doesn't like the color and it's scratchy," so he already hates
So
it.
it's
But that's
already
fine.
yours. Yep.
Yeah, so it's already mine. But this is like 4 days worth, and I'd say
Hey.
that's an eighth
Yeah.
of the way.
Maybe
An
a
eighth,
10th. I don't
maybe a
know.
10th.
Depends
Yeah,
how long you want it to be. Depends if
yeah.
it's really for him or really for you.
Exactly. How long's a piece of string, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how long do we want the scarf to
Oh,
be?
well, that's quite a soothing, cathartic thing to do to just calm your nerves while you're in a building site.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna try and do. Just keep it, keep it grounded, keep the meditation up, keep the
Yeah.
knitting.
Lovely. Lovely.
Ah,
Oh, that's good.
how are you feeling heading into the year? Well, we're in it now, aren't we?
Well,
We're in
we
it.
are in it now. I'm feeling generally really good. My house is completely out of control. So I'm going to
Mhm.
do quite a bit of domestic admin this week because it's out of hand. I've got stuff to organize for the kids, for like uniforms and stuff that's got to happen before school starts, and enrolling for bits and bobs and blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah.
I need to put aside a bit of time this week just to sort some things out. But I did have quite a good admin day today with Pilates partner who was like, give me a mention of the pod.
Admin, eh?
I was like, using your
The
name, or are we
old
just sticking
one
with
too.
Pilates partner? There was some Pilates, not going to lie. We
Of
celebrated
course.
successful admin with a little Pilates, as you do. um, no, we were doing like a bit of financial admin, a bit of planning, just a bit of future planning, stuff like
Mhm.
that, like real grown-ups and having real grown-up conversations. And we're really proud of ourselves, you know?
Well done. I'm
I
proud of you
know.
guys too.
Thank you. But it feels good. It feels good. Admin and planning and talking and spreadsheets. You know what? You know how I love a spreadsheet.
You
So
love a spread. You're really good at a spreadsheet. You
thank
inspire
you.
me with
Thank
that.
you. Yeah.
And then I try, and they never look quite as good.
Mm.
Just never quite formatted as well
Oh,
as yours.
yeah. See, I now think that my spreadsheeting is just kind of adequate. There's
Mm.
some really amazing things that you can do with them, and I don't think I've got it. I don't think I've got it. But
Excel is
listen, it does the
so
job.
underutilized. It's so
Yeah.
underutilized. I remember when I worked at MediaWorks in sales years ago, this Excel guy came in and showed us what you could do with Excel.
Yeah.
I
We
was
can actually do.
absolutely floored.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he left, I instantly forgot it all and just went back to just
The
formatting
yeah.
cells
Just as
to
you had
wrap
been doing
around each other.
before. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that was like 13 years ago. So imagine what you
Yeah.
could do with it now.
Well, the thing is, a friend of mine does use ChatGPT to learn and to help, figure it
Oh.
out and do things and formulas and like, oh, I want to do this. And so we could adapt, we could adopt, we could get better. But what we'll do is we'll keep doing what we've been doing, and that's you know what? Sometimes adequate is good enough. But no, otherwise I'm feeling good going into the year. I feel like this is going to be a good year. Let me tell you, I
Mm.
am actually doing the people who can't see, I'm actually performing the sugar bowl position. I don't know why I'm doing it. I've got my fists on my hips. I don't know why I'm doing this, but
I think it's
I
because you're
think
talking about this being a good year and you're
it's
just
a power
bringing in some kind
stance.
of power stance.
It's a power stance because I'm obviously subconsciously also feeling confident about it.
Mm.
I am more up to date on my emails and notifications than I have been in 2.5 years.
That is huge. Do you know what? I've noticed that you've been firing out of the bloody
Right?
gates because,
Right?
emails have been coming in left, right, and
Yeah.
centre, and I've been like, Bean is on one at the moment.
Things are getting done.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like on top of it. There's definitely a lot of pending jobs within what's left,
Mhm.
but I think I'm feeling like fewer obstacles to get to them. I seem to
Yeah.
be like, "Do you know what? I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it." And you're the horse, Matty. Clippity clop. It's
You're the
happening.
bloody horse. Look, personal question. You might not want to answer it, and that's cool. Are you on ADHD meds?
I am today, yes.
Do you think they've made a big difference?
Well, but I was on them like for a long time last year too.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what
Yeah,
I think?
okay,
Do you
good
know
to
what I
know.
think has shifted? I think it might have been my India pilgrimage. We did a lot of work over there.
Yeah. Makes sense.
There was a lot of going into various temples to absorb the various energies. There was a lot of
Yeah.
fire ceremonies, a lot of unnecessary things getting transformed in the fire.
Yeah. And what does that all mean then if you come back and can't finish your emails? What was it all for?
Well, then they were obviously irrelevant. I don't know. But look, I don't know. I feel a shift in my energy. I feel a shift in my attitude. I'm not feeling the same obstacles there. So
Yeah.
I think
Amazing.
there's lots of stuff is happening. Whatever it is, it's working and I'm happy about it. What I'm not
Good.
happy about, Maddie, and we need to talk about this as a public service
Mhm.
announcement. And I think just something that as a community we can all make a change on. As you were aware, over the summer, took a lovely road trip with my caravan Gloria and my dear friend Sarah. Had a wonderful
Gorgeous.
time. Now, as you'll be aware, in a caravan, not very fast. If you hit 90, she starts to wag her tail, and what you don't want is a caravan wagging its tail. So I've got to stay below that. But I am good at pulling over and letting
Mm.
traffic past as and when I can.
You're self-aware.
I'm self-aware, I'm looking at what's going on, and I understand what it's like to be stuck behind a slow vehicle when you
Mm.
yourself are not a slow vehicle, okay? However, I would say that there's been a big shift over the decades. Now, if a vehicle pulled over back in the day, almost every car would give you a good boop boop on the way past,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
just an acknowledgement and a thank
Yeah,
you.
a roadside thank you, boop boop. You know, and
Yeah,
I think we can agree boop boop is a thank you, a long held boop is a reprimand.
yeah, that's a
You know,
yeah.
you can also do a little flash of the hazard lights. That's a nice thank you, although sometimes
Mm.
you miss it if you're not looking. But a boop boop, I would say there's probably only 10% of vehicles with boop booping.
Oh, and I bet some of them would have zoomed past in a sort of aggressive way, eh? Like as if to say, "Ah,
There was a,
finally."
a, a couple of road rages, but not too like only a couple. That's all.
Mm,
But I think as a nation, we need to boop boop. If there's been, you've
yeah,
got to communicate on the road. Don't forget we're a community of road users. If
yeah.
someone gives you the courtesy of being aware that you want to get past and pull it, boop boop. You know, if
Mm.
someone does something that you're thankful for, boop boop, give them a wave, flash the hazards, something. But it can't go unacknowledged. What's changed?
No, I know. I really feel like how people are on the roads is a reflection of our general level of consciousness at the
Mm,
time, because sometimes I'm driving and I'm like, people are unwell. Like, people are unwell if they think this sort of behavior is in any way acceptable. Like, there are times where, like, I might pull out or something, and someone will, this doesn't happen often, but it has happened. Someone will then speed up so
mm.
that then they can get annoyed at me because they're like, "You pulled out in front of me." But I'm like, "But if you had just driven at your normal speed that you were driving before, it would have been fine." But it's like they want to
They
be
want you to know
upset.
that they had to maybe check their speed
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
now they're gonna give you a little fright because they're like, "I'll show her.
yeah,
I'll show her
yeah,
pulling out in
exactly.
front of me."
She shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, "But you're making something." It's like,
You've now
to
made it
me,
dangerous.
that's
Yeah.
sort of concerning, but because I'm like, are you so desperate to feel anger in your body
Yeah.
that you will make a situation like that happen? And just people like, oh my God, people are just crazy on the
Yeah.
roads. Or if you're going, you know, 100, say, in the fast lane, and you're behind someone who's, like, maybe going 100 as well, and then someone will pull up beside you and zoom past, and it's like, "Dude, it's all good. We
Yeah.
know you can go 110 in the fast lane, okay? We get it. Just calm down. It's
Yeah,
crazy."
you don't need to be aggressive about it. But I guess, like, road rage is where people take out their aggression where they don't feel like they can take it out anywhere else, which I'm not
No.
condoning that. That's an
No, but it
observation.
explains it. It explains it. I remember Georgia Vavasor, big friend of the pod, our our meditation teacher. She explained it one time when she was saying, like, when your body has all this pent up anger or whatever it is, anxiety or whatever, and it looks for these little cracks where it can come out. And so in these moments where there's road rage or something really small goes wrong, but it sees a little crack, and so it can escape in that
Mm.
moment, and it can be expressed and be seen because it has a little bit of permission,
You're not
like
pointing
all
at your
this.
child or your partner or,
No, no, exactly. And it's kind of acceptable because you're not in someone's face and you also might be by yourself. And so it doesn't feel like the other person, like it feels like you're kind of anonymous,
yeah. But it's a bit of a temperature check on, hey, what's going on the inside?
100%. If you're like,
Yeah.
if you've got bad road rage, I think there might be some internal stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, I just wanted to, has anyone else realized there's low boop booping around? And can we just, as a community, spread the boop boops? Because, it makes you feel good, doesn't it? When you've like,
It
oh,
makes
I'll let
everyone
that
feel good.
person in and you get a wave and you're like, oh, you've just had a wee moment of connection. Or someone's pulled over and you're like, boop, boop, everyone feels good. We'll just
Everyone feels
spread
good.
spread the good road vibes.
Yeah.
It's
Don't be a
good
dick.
low vibes.
Just don't be a dick.
I know. If you can, just try and avoid being a dick. And I think that's just a good rule for life. So while we were camping, and
Mm.
obviously I've got a very, like, Gloria, she's a 1969 Oxford Caravan. So we're
She's very
talking,
cool.
she's very cool, like nothing fancy. We're rustic. She's got tassels on her lampshades. You know, she's so cool. One day I'd love to be able to afford to do it, you know, give her a lovely new paint job, but hey, I looked into the cost and then I realized that wasn't going to be this year. And I've just had to replace her tires. So that's that for her.
You're getting new tires, Gloria. All right. And
Yeah, and
let's be done with it.
that's what we've got. So we toured around some different places, stayed in a number of different campgrounds, and I was chatting to this lovely lady in this campground in Mochwaker, and I got a bit of a tour of their setup. They have all sorts of things going on. They've sort of got a permanent spot in this campground, and they've got gardens. They've got a dog, and obviously made best friends with the dog, you know. But she was talking, so she showed me they had like converted their camper themselves, and so she was showing me the design and what they chose and how it all worked. It was very cool. It's always amazing what people can do with these little spaces. But she's like, oh, but people in big motorhomes, they still won't talk to us. I'm like, sorry, what? And she goes, yeah, there's a whole, called it like the camping caste system.
Mm.
And I was like, I didn't know that this existed, but apparently it's a thing. So the people in like the really big, nice, fancy motorhomes don't really talk to the people in like the converted campers and smaller motorhomes. And then there's obviously a big rift. Well, I don't know, not a rift, but a difference between them. And then you've got your caravanners. I don't know what category I fit into. And then people in tents and yeah, and she said like one time they stayed in this campsite for a couple of weeks when they were traveling around the country because they work remotely, and the big motorhomers weren't talking to them, and then someone else in a camper their size moved in, and she said they without even asking, they just brought over their chairs and bottles of wine and sat with us because they were so desperate for conversation because other people weren't talking to them. Like, what is going on?
That's really odd. Did they try talking to them first?
I don't know. But apparently I was like, I didn't realize this was a thing. And then the more we traveled around and talked to people and then looked at different areas of campgrounds and stuff like that, we're like, oh, this is a thing. There's whole neighborhoods of different, there's a whole camping caste system.
Oh, people are hilarious, aren't they? We love a
Aren't they
group.
so funny.
We love a group.
I just need to know that I
insert
can
us into a group that, you know, it's just so funny, eh?
It's
Oh,
so
God.
ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But I like to think I'm on the fringes anyway, because hardly anyone has a vintage caravan. Some
No.
people have them, they've really done them up beautifully, and it's so cool. But I feel like you can go and talk to those people. Like, those people seem very approachable because you've made yourself conspicuous by having a vintage caravan and doing it up. And so people are curious, and they're all very nostalgic as well. They're like, oh, we had one of these as kids and blah, blah, blah. It's a lovely way to meet people.
So then maybe you and Gloria together, it's your job to bring together the camping communities. You're the middleman who is just connecting people. You're connecting the big motorhomers with the
Oh, do you know what, Matty? I'm exhausted already.
Oh, who can be bothered? God, let them deal with it
I just want to enjoy my, I just want to enjoy my holiday.
Go on holiday.
I can't be bothered fixing people if they've already got a problem like that.
No, you're so right. You know what? Lead them to it. God,
I always say hello to everyone, and if people want to chat, I'll chat,
Yeah.
But if they want to look down their nose at me because they've got a bigger moving box than my moving box, well, they can kiss my vintage caravan ass, quite frankly. Yeah.
No, you're right. No, we're not fixing their problems. Sort it out yourselves.
People can fix their own bloody problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, we have to.
Yeah, we've got enough of our own shit to deal with, actually. No, I totally take it back.
Yeah.
Totally take it back.
Great segue, because speaking of shit, Matty, and bums, and...
Speaking of shit and bums. So where are we going with this?
Oh, well, every now and again, we hear from someone in our medical community, or we pop something up on our stories about things that have been found inside of other people and how they really have no legitimate excuse for them being there. And I happened upon a reel of this woman saying to her doctor husband, she's like, right, in 60 seconds, list as many things as you can that's been found inside of people that shouldn't have been there. And he listed like 40 different items or something that were absolutely hilarious. And so I was like, the community will love this. Pop that up on our stories. And because one of the things that this doctor had mentioned was a toilet brush and the base. And the base. Anyway, our dear paramedic friend in our community, she says, "Oh my God, I went to a toilet brush handle." She said, "All I can say is I couldn't see any bristles."
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't even, oh God. Human beings, please. That is foul. That is truly foul.
Now,
I
listen, there's a
wonder
lot
what,
of legitimate items that are designed to be put inside your bottom. Okay?
yeah, use those.
Use
Use a butt
those.
plug like a normal person. Is that not enough for you? Get an extra large.
Yeah.
Maybe try and find some with bristles, but for the love of God.
Maybe they wanted a good clean.
Maybe. Maybe that they're like, well, I mean,
This does get to the corners.
and it's sort of like that's where it's going anyway. It's already got fecal matter. I can't. I
No,
actually can't.
I know,
It's too
I
foul.
can't.
It's too
Okay, look,
foul.
listen, if anyone's looking at their toilet brush the wrong way, stop what you're doing immediately, okay?
Yeah, it's not
Ch-
for there. It's
Choose
not
something that's
for there.
designed to go there, okay? That's your other public service announcement. Thank you.
Mhm.
You had a scammer?
Oh my God. So this story, I can't even remember what made me think of this. But I feel like it was such a random story at the time that I think it should have a longer tail. Like it was years ago, but I think it's such a good yarn. So this guy, his name was Dommy. That's what he told us. His name was
Right.
Dommy. And he got in touch with Art and wanted to connect with him about something. And Art, being the upstanding man that he is, he was like, sure, yeah, let's go for a coffee and connect. So they went for a coffee and he sort of weaseled his way into our lives a bit. Like he came over to our place a few times and we were sort of becoming friends ish. Thinking, yeah, more acquaintances. But anyway, then something came up and he had to ask Art for some money. And he said, "Oh, look, I'm really sorry to ask. I've kind of," and then it was this big story. And then Art told me, and I was like, "We've got to help him out." And so Art was like, "Okay, great,
Oh, you're so good-hearted.
just do it." And it started off like it wasn't a huge amount, but it was still like substantial. Like I think it was about $200.
Mhm.
Not huge, but still, it's $200.
But it's still, that's a good,
Yeah, who was my
like,
close friend. So we were like, "Okay, cool." And he was like, "I'll pay you back as soon as XYZ happens." I can't remember the details. And I was like, "Okay, great." And then we remained kind of acquaintances and, hung out a couple of times. And then something else came up and he needed more money. And it was really at the time because I wouldn't say that I am, what's the word? What's the word when you're a bit suspicious?
like cynical or skeptical.
Yeah, cynical. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm a cynical person, but I am pretty realistic with
Mm.
stuff. But even then, I was like, that sounds legit. I think we should help him one more time. And so we gave him $500. So now we've given this guy like
$700. This is
$700.
now a lot of money.
Yeah, this is now a lot of money. We were sure that he would pay us back. He seemed like a really good guy. He seemed like a nice, genuine guy. Anyway, push comes to shove, and Art and I are getting to the point where we're like, I don't think this guy is gonna pay us back. There's just something a little bit fishy. I don't think he's gonna pay us back. Long story short, a reporter from the spin-off gets in touch with us saying, "Hey, do you know a guy called Dommy?"
When?
Oh, this would have been it was years ago. It
Okay.
was
Okay.
it was pre-kids. They said, "Do you know a guy called Dommy?" And we said, "Yeah." And they said, "Have you lent him money?" And we said, "Yeah." Turns out this guy was like befriending influencers and rinsing them for cash.
Oh my
I'll see if
God.
I can find the story. It's just like absolutely wild.
And so
Yeah,
he's
he
just
was
been
like an
going around
influencer scam
befriending.
artist. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The Instagram scammer who ripped off New Zealand's top social media influencers, dozens come forward to accuse Insta scammer of swindling
Dozens.
them out of thousands.
Dozens.
Yeah,
He
so
must have been so, his personality must have been so charismatic and like convincing.
yeah,
These people are,
they're
inc-
really good.
they're
They're
really good. It's
really
quite
good.
incredible and fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a mental illness. I
Well,
really do.
yes, there is a
Yeah,
mental illness there. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, so, yeah, this guy was like, I can't
So
it
how did it
came up.
end? Like, did you confront him?
Oh, we tried, but he
And he
just
just
ghosted
disappeared into
us.
thin air? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he just ghosted us, and I think it was about $700 from memory. I mean, it's all a bit hazy now, but I just randomly thought of the story, and I was like, "I have to tell this on the pod." That was
Yeah.
absolutely wild.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is crazy. I've never been scammed for money. Or indeed, if I have, never noticed.
Yeah, it's just come out, and,
Yeah,
let's see.
if anyone has scammed me for money, can you let me know? But, I mean, I've been catfished before when I was,
Mm,
like, new on dating apps and stuff like that. Have I ever told you about
no,
have I ever told you any of those stories?
no.
No? Okay, well, there was one. I mean, there's a lot of catfishes on dating apps. If anyone out there is new to dating apps,
Watch out.
please watch
Watch
out,
out for the
because, yeah,
catfishes.
there's so many people that have just stolen photos, or they're using someone else's photos or whatever. They're definitely not who they say they are. Anyway,
Don't send them any pictures for the love of God.
no. There was this one particular one where I cottoned on really fast. Like, he was a very attractive Frenchman, but
Mm,
then he said that he was living in like Prebbleton, and it was just slightly outside of Christchurch, and
mm.
he was an architect. And I was like, this already isn't adding up.
Yeah, so there's
Um,
not like, would you say Prebbleton is like the epicenter for French architects?
Absolutely not. We're not thinking chic. We're
Yeah.
thinking dingy pub.
Yeah, right.
No offense to anyone
So
who lives in Prebbleton.
yeah,
I'm sure there's
but,
some
like, what's a
lovely
French
areas.
architect
But
doing there? It's
what's a
random.
French architect who's moved to New Zealand thinking living in
Beeline for
Prebbleton?
Prebbleton.
It would be an inconvenient place to live, to travel into. You just, it wasn't adding up. And I was
Mm.
like, this guy, like, this is an absolute catfish. And then I thought, well, how far can I take this?
Mm.
And I don't know. He would worked on his story, and he was doing this and he was doing that, and I was like, interesting. And because I just was like, what do they want? He hadn't
Mm.
asked for any photos or anything like that, and I was thinking, what's he actually after, and how far is he prepared to go? And then I said to him, oh, look, sorry, I'm not going to be able to arrange to meet you. I've got work commitments, I've got this and that going on for a while, but hey, it'd be just really lovely to, like, why don't we just jump on for a video chat so that we can
So good.
get to know each other, but it'd be really lovely to see your face and just be able to talk more easily, And he was like, yeah, 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 yeah. And I was thinking, what? How?
What's he gonna do?
What's he
How's he
gonna
gonna make this
do?
work?
Yeah. So he wanted to talk on Viber, which I understand some people use as a
Mm.
chat thing. It's like a
I mean, I
WhatsApp or
used
a
it in, like,
messenger.
2011, I think.
Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah.
So I had to download Viber, and I was like, okay, interesting, fine. And then it was coming to the time when we were going to have our chat. And I was like, he still hasn't made an excuse and backed out.
Mm.
What's going to happen? Oh, and by the way, I'd already, like, Google image searched the photos that he was using, and he was indeed
And
some
you'd found
French model. Yeah. Found lots of photos of this French model online. So I was like, all right, well, here we go. So I dialed on for this video chat, and then the callers answered.
Mhm.
And on the video, I'm seeing this guy from the pictures sitting on a chair in what looks like maybe it could have been a hotel room.
Okay.
And as he's speaking, the catfish person is speaking at the same time and trying to. This was obviously a video of this man. So the catfish person is trying to speak when the man in the video is speaking to create
What?
the illusion of having a video chat.
What? How did he even do that?
I don't know. Like, he's probably sitting another laptop in front of his phone or his laptop.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
know.
Was it remotely believable, or was it just like, what
Not
is
in any way. He also was, let me tell you, did not have a French accent.
Okay.
Did have an accent, wasn't French. It was just the most ridiculous thing. Like, trying to match when you speak to when some person who's obviously just being interviewed in a hotel room is speaking and trying to like, what kind of idiot?
What a stretch. What a
What
stretch.
a
Bloody
stretch.
hell.
He must have thought he could have pulled that off. But anyway, I didn't stay on the call long. I was like, you're obviously a catfisher. Like,
Mm.
stop trying to scam people, and I'm reporting your profile. And every time I see your profile, I'm going to report it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just kept making new profiles, and I just kept reporting them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's so creepy, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
really creepy.
Yeah. That bad
Like,
stuff.
what are these people's motives? Is it money? Is it sexual? Like,
I think depends on the person, Matty.
extortion? Could
Depends on
be
the person.
depends on the person.
Yeah, whatever
God.
they want to exploit someone for, that's what they'll do.
Well, look, speaking of people being a bit, shady,
Mm.
do we wanna touch on the Beckhams?
I don't
Do
think
we wanna touch on the Beckham
I
drama?
think we must. Okay,
think
my
we
first
must.
question for you, and we will bring everyone up to speed
Mhm. Mhm.
briefly on what the bone that is being picked is, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
My question for you, Matty, is that every now and again we have a globally unifying event of a trivial nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that the Beckham Peltz drama and Family Feud is more or less unifying than the Coldplay affair?
Oh god, I reckon the Coldplay affair was more unifying because I think it was broader.
Yeah,
It had a broader reach,
yeah,
whereas, like, Be I don't think your average, like, boomer dad, for instance, would really know about the Beckham Peltz drama,
yeah,
but they would know because they'd be like, "Oh, bloody hell, did you see the co" you know, they
yeah.
I reckon the Coldplay one had more reach, but the Beckham one is just niche enough to make it even more interesting for me, I think.
Yeah, I think because you've got more to dive into. The Coldplay affair, you could understand what was happening in moments. And so
Yeah.
I think that was more unifying because like the memes, it just went so far.
Mm. But you don't
So
know them, but we kinda know
we do now.
Posh. We know Posh
Yeah.
and Brooklyn and somewhat Nicola, don't we?
Yes. Well, not Nicola for me, but David certainly. Yeah. So we know about who they are as people.
Mm.
And I think what's nice when these things happen, obviously, it's not nice for the people that are involved, but
No.
they are sharing it with the world publicly. So
Mm.
you only have yourselves to blame for that. I have a limited amount of sympathy, honestly, for everyone involved.
Mm.
Like just a small and appropriate amount, but I would
Mm.
say limited because you've shared it with the world. And I think bring this back to happening on a very normal, everyday domestic scale.
Mm.
You're having a family feud, you're having a
Mhm.
family argument, a family bust up.
Mhm.
What's going to happen is there's going to be a bit of a situation, and then there's going to be a side WhatsApp family chat excluding the person who's upset everybody, and
Yeah.
everyone's just going to bitch about it on there.
Yeah.
And that's the equivalent on a domestic scale.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
there's going to be some people who are getting the silent treatment for a while. There's going to be people who are not going to events and not talking to each other.
Mhm. Mhm.
But other than that,
It's a classic family falling out,
it's a
isn't it?
classic family falling out.
We've
But
all
they're
seen it
like,
before.
because we have global reach,
Mm.
because we have people who are listening to us and watching us, and we're actually capitalizing on how much in the media we are, no matter what it's for,
Mm.
because we can afford lawyers.
Yeah.
It's an extravagance. It's an elitist extravagance, this family feud, and that's what I think, and that's why I don't have a lot of sympathy for it, Maddie.
I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. I also, when I saw that, okay. Well,
Let's just back up the track
set
and
the
go, all right,
scene.
let's summarize as quickly as we can what the
Yeah.
issue is.
Okay. So David Beckham and Victoria Beckham, aka Posh Spice, they are married. They've got 4 children, I believe. Their oldest son, Brooklyn, has married a billionaire heiress, Nicola Peltz, who is now Nicola Peltz Beckham. The narrative up till now has been that Nicola is kind of controlling Brooklyn and that there's a bit of estrangement going on. Brooklyn has kind of estranged himself from the Beckham family. We haven't seen him in family pictures. We haven't seen him being posted on social media, which is a bit odd for the Beckhams because they post a lot about their family, right? So there's been lots of speculation happening. There's been a few things in the media about how Nicola's controlling him, blah, blah, blah. And Brooklyn then did an absolutely outrageous series of typed out frames on his story, basically setting the narrative straight in his own way. So basically saying about how his wife Nicola has been consistently disrespected by his family, how he's grown up being commoditized, yeah, and how everything is perfectly planned and for social media and for press and whatever. He made a few kind of wild accusations, like how Victoria Beckham was supposed to be doing Nicola's wedding dress and then cancelled at the 11th hour.
Luckily,
So
Valentino stepped in and saved the day.
Thank God for Valentino,
Phew.
honestly.
Yeah.
God, doing the Lord's work out there. I think he actually just died, R.I.P.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry about that, Valentino.
Brooklyn released this kind of statement the day that Valentino died.
That's a bit weird. That's a bit weird.
Yeah. Well, maybe he
So
obviously maybe didn't know, but awkward timing.
yeah. So he's basically saying, I've been controlled by my parents for most of my life. I grew up with overwhelming anxiety. For the first time in my life since stepping away from my family, that anxiety has disappeared. I wake up every morning peaceful for the life I chose and have found peace and relief. My wife and I do not want a life shaped by image, press, or manipulation. All we want is peace, privacy, and happiness for us and our future family. So there's a lot more in there. He goes into a lot of detail. So we'll put the screenshots in our. Can we put screenshots in the show notes?
Oh, we might link to a. We'll link to a something.
Yeah, let's
we'll link to a post. We'll link to a
something.
something that unpacks it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your take? What's your take on all this?
When I read it, I was just shaking my head the whole time, going, Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn. Dude.
You're a young man in your 20s.
You're a young man in your 20s. You've just shat on your whole family in front of the entire world. And look, I believe him that,
we're not saying he's wrong. He has been commoditized his entire life, but he's also benefited, not that he consented to it.
Yeah.
But he has benefited from being in Brand Beckham.
Exactly.
So we'll take that into account.
Exactly. And I think that he could have taken the high road. It just feels like for someone who is so sick of the press and social media and this and that, he could have just let it be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he could have just faded away and been like, yes, maybe there is a narrative that my wife is controlling me. So what? So people are going to be wrong. People are not going to know every single aspect of my life. They're not going to know everything about my childhood. They're not going to know everything about my marriage and how every single event played out. And that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't matter if people are wrong about how something has played out. It just, to me, it came across really wanting to control the opinion of him so extremely that he's thrown his whole family under the bus, who have raised him his whole life. Sure, I'm sure he didn't have a perfect upbringing. I mean, who has? But he certainly had a bit of privilege. Like, again, that doesn't take
Just a bit,
away
yep. Just a bit.
from his anxiety or whatever he was experiencing. But I was like, how selfish.
Well, you can't undo that. That's the thing. And I don't know. Like, I think we've got to remember this is a guy who's like 26. And
totally. And that's, I think, what it was. Like, I think I was just like, I feel like you are a young man doing something that you will regret one day. And it's just hard to watch because we've all done that. We've all done things that that we have regretted, but I haven't done it to,
That
500
degree.
million people. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it felt really defensive. It felt really nasty. It felt really just a bit unnecessary to me. It's like, go to your therapist. Go to your therapist and talk about all this. Talk about this with your friends. Like, talk. It's I don't think there's any need to sink to someone else's level like that, because obviously he's responding to narratives in the press and whatever. But it's like, if you really want a life of peace and harmony, do you really think that's the way to get it?
Mm.
To open this absolute media shitstorm? Obviously, that's going to have the opposite effect. Just stay quiet and move on.
It's
You know,
throwing
deal with
fuel
it
on the fire
a
for sure.
100%. Deal with it with your therapist and your friends and those close to you, because it's like, who gives a shit what the rest of the world that don't know
Mm.
the ins and outs, that we will never know, because what are we going to do then have an interview with David and Victoria and then all the guests at the wedding, and then we're going to get the perspective of the other three kids, and then we're going to hear from Nicola as well, and then we all get to be the judge and jury?
I know, we're never gonna get that. See, this is the
No.
thing, like, it's feeding the beast that he is, like,
That
been
he's so upset with,
upset
that
about.
it has hurt him so much.
Yeah, that's hurt him so much. And, we'll bear in mind, and he's 26, he's married, he's starting a life. He doesn't
Mm,
wanna be under the yoke of brand Beckham, although it's supported him very well. And he wants his sense of identity and individuality and to make his own decisions and not be told where to turn up to have his photo taken and how to
mm,
be and feel pressured to, have a certain presence on social media. And I get all that. It does take a lot of emotional maturity to understand
yeah,
you cannot control the narrative
no,
and you just
no,
have to let the narrative run
yeah,
and get on with your life. And
yeah,
there's probably a lot of people who are like, yeah, I've been in that situation where there was a massive rumor going around about me and I
mhm.
realized I couldn't run around, knock on every single person's door and be like, it's not that, it's this, like,
And I get it. That's what you wanna
yeah,
do. When someone has a perception of you that is not accurate, it's really difficult, because you really wanna change it and you really wanna explain and you wanna be like, "No, that's not the case." But at the
it's
end of the
not
day,
how life works.
you can't control it, The
Mm.
best thing that he can do is just live life how he wants to live it, and then the narrative will, like, he'll be
It
able
will
to form
fade.
his own narrative then from just living how he wants to live. That's all he has to do. So, yeah, it you're right. It seemed really immature. But then at the same time,
I can understand his
I can
frustration,
I can understand it
and
for
I
sure.
can understand what he's saying and why he's saying it, and also wanting to, defend his position and have a voice and set the narrative
Mm,
straight and defend his wife and defend his life, and I can understand all of
mhm,
that. The cynical part of me, Maddie,
mm.
is saying this. One, that they're friendly with Harry and Meghan. I believe they share the same PR team advisor.
Oh god, they've got a busy old PR team, don't they?
Oh, right. Yeah, that their Christmas parties must be good. Um, but my concern now is, I mean, not that I'm deeply concerned, but here's here's my suspicion, is that what he's upset about is, feeling controlled his whole life, being commoditized without his consent,
Mm,
this brand being built around the family being a particular way, and he wants his identity and he wants to be sovereign.
yeah.
And I get that.
Mhm,
But by speaking up like this, one, you've done it now, and this can't be undone. So reconciliation with your family is going to be harder because
really
you've
hard.
said these things and you've made these claims, and now that's out there and this is in the public domain and that's for everyone's consumption.
Mm,
And that also creates another wound in the family. And I'm not saying, like, I've read some of the things about his parents and what they've done and how they've gone about things, and in no way am I condoning any of those choices. Like, oh my God, just bugger that, being involved in all of that. Anyway, but the cynical part of me is that now he's been so public about this and his position, it's created another opportunity for himself. And
mm,
that opportunity is now to commoditize his story.
mm,
And therefore, you might be commoditizing yourself as a sovereign person, but
mm,
now you've just made it juicy and salacious and saleable. And are you going to come out with a book next? Because that's what you're going to get offered.
Yeah.
And so then you're just going to capitalize on this. And so essentially,
Yeah.
it just rolls over.
Yeah. And it will be really interesting to see what happens with that, because if he wants this peaceful, harmonious life away from the media, I'll be just interested to see if they go down that path genuinely, or if it's just too tempting to take a
Exactly.
big old pay packet for a book deal or something like that, because it would be massive. It'd be
It would
massive.
be huge,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
So that's going to
yeah.
be interesting to watch. Okay, so obviously we all did a deep dive on this. Some things that I learned that were interesting, Matty.
Mm.
The Beckham documentaries, so there's one about David, there's one about Victoria. They produced those. They were producers on that. So that wasn't done independently. So it's just another, PR situation for them. Like they're
Yeah.
constantly telling their story the way that they want to tell their story.
But I get that though. Like, if it's about your life and your family, I'd want to control that
Yeah.
100%. Because
Yeah.
then, if it is 100% third party, then it's kind of like, well, if you've got no control over it, the risk behind something like that is huge.
Yeah, but then you're also like, it's also not objective.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm not saying it would ever, in any sense, it didn't matter who made it, be fair
yeah,
or
yeah,
or factual necessarily, but
yeah,
it's also not objective. So there's a lot of narrative controlling and
yeah,
just commoditizing and staying relevant and staying talked about, staying
yeah.
in the media. I mean, the other theory that I had is that none of this is real, and they're all just trying to stay relevant.
But that whole staying relevant thing, like, Art and I get that a lot actually. Like, you're still trying to ride your 15 minutes of fame, still trying to stay relevant, blah,
It's
blah,
a long
blah.
15
It's
minutes, Matty.
it's actually just it's like any business. You build on what you're creating. So it's like the Beckhams are a business, right? Just like the firm with Harry and Meghan, they're like essentially a business in a way. And so it's like they are, I wouldn't say it's staying relevant, like they're addicted to fame. I mean, hey, maybe they are, I don't know. But it's also like that's their skill set, and
Yeah.
that's their
That's where they're
livelihood.
making their
That's where they're
livelihood.
making their money. Like, she's a fashion designer. They have a public profile. That's what they do for work. And so doing all of these different things, we give them relevancy because we watch it and we buy it and we follow them. So it's, yeah, that term just triggers me a little bit because I'm like, I'm just doing my thing. Art's
Yeah.
doing his thing. I'm not saying that we're on anywhere near the same level as Posh and Bex, obviously, but I'm just saying it because we often get the same
Yeah.
criticism. And it's like, you choose what you consume. People consume them, and they, I'm sure, work very hard on what they do. And so why are we upset when we consume this stuff that we accuse them of them
Yeah.
trying to stay relevant?
I guess
You know what I mean?
what I don't want to see
Mm.
is that a family feud is fabricated
Yeah, yeah.
for staying,
Yeah, I
in the
gotcha.
picture
Yeah.
and commoditizing some fake story, because
Yeah.
it's not, you can't put that past anyone now.
No. No, it's feasible. It is
It's feasible.
totally
I
feasible.
don't think it is, but that's just, it was a theory.
Mm.
It was a theory that I came up
Mm.
with. I'm like, oh, they better
It
not.
is just any kind of famous family like that, I think, are just really fascinating. Really fascinating. But also with Brooklyn, you know, how he did that big kind of story about his upbringing and how he had a lot of anxiety, and it was like all about PR appearances and social media and whatever. It's also kind of like everyone is dealt a hand, right? Everyone has a situation that they're born into that they have no control over. Some it's an abusive family, some it's toxic family dynamics, some it's you're a rich family that has a public profile and a lot of the work they do is public facing stuff. And it's just it did kind of annoy me a little bit, being like, I'm sure that wasn't easy for you, 100%. But it's and same with Harry, same with Meghan. It's like, this is the hand you've been dealt. So how do you make the best of it?
Mm.
And how do you deal with your own shit that you have? Because everyone has it. Everyone's got their own stuff to different degrees, of course. But it's like you can't argue with the past. It is what it is. That's your
Mm.
family. That's what you were born into. What are you going to do tomorrow to carve your own path and just bloody deal with it, you know?
Yeah.
I
Where do
think
you go from
sometimes, like,
here?
we let our past, our childhood or whatever, like, just consume us. Like, we can do so much. And he's probably being 26. He's probably right at the he's in the crux of that sort of work
He
where you're,
is.
like, reflecting on your childhood,
Yeah.
you're reflecting on who you are today and
And
what
how it's
aspects of your
impacted you.
childhood has impacted you into who you are. That's a real time of reflection. And then I think you come out the other side and you're kind of just like, yep, that's that.
Yep. And
You know
that's
what I
what and
mean?
that's what I, but you're right. And do you know what? He's just right on time for that. He's
Yeah.
right on time for moving away from the family and determining who he is on his
Mm,
own terms.
yeah.
And it's just that then he's making the mistake of sharing that with everybody, which is a mistake that, at 26 you are going to make.
Yeah.
You are going to
He's
do
in the
that.
crunchy time now.
He's in the
Yeah.
crunch time and you're going to make mistakes. And he is like figuring out who he is in relation to everything else and
Mm,
what that means and reflecting. And then hopefully he'll go and have a lot of therapy and he'll deal with that. But then you're right. At some point, you can't keep looking at some point, you've understood it all.
yeah.
At some point, you've understood the traumas that you carry. You've
Yeah.
understood the family that you've got. You've understood how that shaped you as a person.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, well, now this is what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And
And now I'm going to
I'll
move forward.
I'll move forward.
Yeah.
You can't blame anymore. Like you're like,
No.
okay, this is the package. This is my package,
This is what I
and
got. This is my hand.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get my therapy, and I'm gonna do my work, and I'm gonna do all the things that are good for me, and then I'm gonna just move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's such a trap to fall into, I think, of like too much self-reflection. Like when you get to this point where like you've done a lot of digging into your past, I guess, and a lot of like deep diving into like what your childhood meant and then who you are now and your childhood wounds or whatever. But it's like you can't dwell on it. You can't dwell
You
on it
can't be in
because
that space forever
no,
because
no.
at some point you've been like, okay, and this has been formative.
Yes.
Everything
Yeah.
that's happened before has been formative and has been adds up to what I am now, and then everything that I've done and chosen to do and all the choices that I make is feeding into that.
Mm,
And then how do we move forward from here? Because
yeah.
like you've actually just got to then look forward and move forward and do
Yeah.
whatever that takes. I just wanted to finish that off on like why we all find it so captivating, because I was thinking about like it everywhere I turn, people are like, oh, and
Yeah.
I just think it's something that everyone can relate to. We've
Mhm.
all had a little family spat, little family falling out, little family feud,
Yeah.
and we're glad it's not us.
Mm,
And we also, it's kind of a relief when you look at some other things that are happening in the world and you're
yeah.
like, oh, good that we, people are really going on about the Beckham situation, which ultimately is genuinely on a global scale quite trivial,
Yeah.
and it will just wash by. But we're enjoying just focusing on this because that's light compared to what else
Yeah.
is going on, and it's a relief. And yet it's everywhere, and it's captivating, and it's kind of unifying in a slightly toxic and unhealthy
In a
way. And
slightly
there's a
toxic
part
way.
of
Yeah.
us
It's toxic
that
way
loves scratching that
unifying.
itch.
But it's also like I think it kind of speaks to this part of human nature that not enjoys. I think enjoys is the wrong word, but kind of revels in the moment when someone perfect or like a perfect family shows a bit of like, huh, okay, that's not perfect.
Oh,
That's a
cool.
bit of an
You guys
issue.
fall out too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys fall out too, and you guys have got problems just like us, and you're not so perfect after all. And it kind of makes us feel a little bit better about ourselves, and our own problems, which is which is a shame that we need to feel that, but sometimes we do. And I think it's just human nature being like, oh, got an issue, do you? Yeah. Well, welcome to
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Welcome to the
respectfully,
school of life.
we have sympathy, but it's like just this feeling that we all have of we enjoy when someone isn't
It's
as
relatable.
perfect as they seem.
Yeah, it's so true. But it's also like, we even now, even recently, as people listen to Does Everybody Else Find This Hard? Whatever we call that episode, you know what one we're talking about, like we have never in our nearly 3-year history had the groundswell of response to that because everyone's like, oh, relate.
Yeah.
Because everyone is so hard on themselves that they're like, oh my God, everyone else just must have it together more than me, and I'm the only one with it falling apart, or that's how it feels right now.
Mhm.
And it's not that way
No.
at all. And this is why we need to see reality and realness and rawness and imperfections, because that's what's real. And otherwise it's what isolates us. Just
Yeah.
this mistaken belief that other people have their shit together.
Exactly. Exactly. And as we all know, we don't. We don't.
We don't.
You know? Well, I think that's a great note to
I agree.
finish on.
I agree. Well,
That we're all imperfect, and that's okay.
and that's okay. And we can acknowledge it.
Hey, well, Godspeed, Brooklyn, if you're listening.
Watch this space. Yeah. And I'm sure he will be tuning in.
Yeah, he'll be like, oh, I wonder what their take is on the family drama.
Yeah. Do you know what? I will take their advice. I won't write that book. I won't.
I'll
I won't
turn
accept
down
that
that
deal.
$10 million paycheck. Maybe
Because that
more,
is going to
maybe
be his
more.
moral dilemma. You mark my words.
And what a moral dilemma it is. Does he take the book
A
deal?
deal. Does he take a
The
deal?
book deal?
Will there be a doco or a book?
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Oh, God. Okay.
Well, if he does, I look forward to reading it.
Yeah, we'll all be reading it and tuning in, won't we? Because that's how it works. We're playing into it as well.
We're part of the machine.
We're part of the problem.
Oh, God. Anyway,
Oh,
well,
gosh.
I better go and eat my
Yeah.
beef short rib that Aunt's been cooking all day. Isn't that
Oh,
exciting?
wow. God,
I
that
know.
is. Oh, it's going to fall off the bone, isn't it?
More tender. It's been in the freezer for, I want to say, a year and a half. So,
Fine. Hey,
might be fine.
no problem with me. As we know, Matty, we are due in future to talk about the use by date leniency scale, which is something that I wanted to bring up. And
Well, we ran out of time because we
ran out of time because we were banging on about
drama.
the, Posh and Becks, the Beckhams. Well, hey, listen, it's been a delight, as always. And you get over there to your children. I did hear them in the background.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Godspeed to you with the Renos. We'll be checking back in.
Thank you. Godspeed, Bean. Talk
All
soon.
right.
And bye, everyone. See you next week. Thanks for
Take
listening.
care out there. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Untidy. If you enjoyed it, we'd love your support to keep making the show. The best thing you can do to help is subscribe by hitting follow in your podcast app and leaving us a little 5-star review. You can also now watch and subscribe on YouTube and check out how these millennials are keeping up with the cool kids on TikTok and the gram. Lastly, please share this podcast with your mates. It means that we can keep building this supportive community, keep giving you untidy episodes, and just keep doing what we love to do.
Don't forget to check out mybigmoments.com for kids' books that make your tricky job of parenting a whole lot easier. Untidy listeners get a discount at checkout, so just pop in Untidy for 10% off your order. Lastly, we would like to thank all of the good people who make this podcast possible. Flicker Williams and Joe Rocker at My Big Moments for the beautiful artwork and design, Maxine London Creative for editing this episode, and Lana Byrne for creating our social content. And to you, our listeners, Araha Nui, take care. We'll see you soon.